I am your DM, Jillian, and we're here with our players. Same as always, we have Frank, Kyle, Matt, Josh, Abby, and Chris. Here now, our players. Same as I have to say, I'm pretty sure everybody in the party is pretty excited to get back into things. I think we left it in a good place, and everybody's having a good time.
What's your definition of good here?
I mean, I'm having a good time.
Okay, that tracks.
I'm having a good time.
That tracks.
I am going to just catch us up on what happened last time, and I think we're all very excited to jump back into it.
Okay, that tracks.
I heard an echo of myself from the deep.
Echoes from the deep.
So what happened last time is Broggy was able to illuminate the spine bridge. All of you proceeded over the spine and forward to where you were presented with a very small village, more of a hamlet, I suppose, of frost giants. Broggy and Saga took the lead to try and just communicate with them, to try and get through peacefully. It seems thousands of years of not talking to people has made Broggy not very good at barding, and he did his best to just basically back Saga up while Saga talked about Lady Satyr and basically got most of the giants invested in this god that was there to save them. She gave them tokens, which she stole from all of her friends, of Lady Satyr.
She can make us more later. She made them in the first place.
Exactly. She reallocated all of the necklaces.
There you go.
From old friends to new friends.
Exactly. She'll make more. You guys,
provided she survives.
Very true.
I mean, they're gone anyway, so they don't need them.
Yeah, we're the ones that didn't survive.
You guys make your way through the giant encampment, where Tordrek meets a nice Lady Frost Giant who gives him a drink and a bit of a little wink. Bit interested, but the height difference, it could work out. We don't know. But you guys had to keep going. One Frost Giant seemed a bit suspicious, but that's not an issue. You all make your way forward. You set up camp for the night in your tiny hut. The next day, you make your way forward. People now fully rested and no longer exhausted. You all make your way forward and you find what looks like a pile of white stones. And after getting a closer inspection, you see that at the end of the spine, this is what you assume to be the oasis, and it is caved in. You see that the whole place has been taken down, and you find remnants of your earlier friends, the man with the golden chin and his accomplices, that they had been here prior and didn't really have much interest in sharing what was here, or something terrible happened. You're not sure. As you all look about, you find an entryway inside, which you cannot fit your sleds in, and is sort of a drop into the basement. Broggy says he would prefer not to enter basically the corpse of his father and will stay with the tent or the sleds. He stays. All of you enter. Inside, you find a large bowl of water that continues to refill. The bowl says the first steps to overcoming fear is embracing it. And a long hallway that's very dark at the end, along the border, you see, all must drink before witnessing the light of Odin or shall perish in its darkness. Tordrek purifies the water, and all of you drink. After you drink, you start to make your way down the hall. Saga, you start to feel a strange sort of tingling sensation in your mouth, and it feels a bit dry. And you watch as your friends enter a beautiful room and find the torch. And then you lose control of your wild magic and break your tincture given to you by the lady. And then you break the torch. And the room slowly begins to fill with water. And each time one of your friends bobs below, you forget something about them. and you start to forget names, and the world just starts to leave your mind, and the things you remember become vast and far between. That is where we left off. Saga, what would you like to do as you are now in this room? You know that there were about 5 people in here, 5 other people besides yourself. 2 of them are gone. You don't remember who they were, but you know 2 people went below the waves. You can see some people in front of you. You see a woman. You see a smaller, kind of shorter man with a beard. And you see a man who has a kind of a high red collar. And you don't remember their names. You feel a connection to them. And you can see they're starting to fall and go under. And each time, just bits of them leave you. I would like you to give me a perception check, please.
You're muted.
Too spooky.
Oh,
Can't talk.
Yeah, it's 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking really hard. I'm so scared.
As you look about the room and you see these people, and at this point you are also now starting to tread water as just aggressive waves start to bash against the walls. You can see in the center of a room that there is a pillar, and it looks like the water has risen enough where you could get on top of it.
Okay. Is it everything is made of stone?
It
In
looks
here?
to be made of stone. It's a white material and a lot of gold.
Okay. I'd like to try to. I don't know if this will work. I'd like to try to help these people somehow. I want to try to use my mold earth to create a few more platforms, or like maybe something sticking out of the pillar so they could grab on to help them.
Okay. You go ahead and give me dexterity plus proficiency.
Okay.
To see if you are able to do this, because you're trying to keep yourself afloat, or you can use sorcery points. That's up to you.
I can use my Tides of Chaos to give myself advantage on things.
Okay.
So I'd like to give myself advantage on this.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Plus proficiency.
Yes.
Is that 5? 15.
Okay. You are able to stay afloat, and also you watch as about a 5-foot long kind of expanse of this pillar sort of stretches out. Are you tilting it towards anyone in particular? They don't seem to be clumped together.
I was kind of thinking to create more of like a wheel of spikes coming out, sort of. So there were quite a few. Maybe not something super long, but just enough where there's a lot of different areas for people to grab onto. Is that possible, or just the one?
Yeah, it won't be as long, but you can do multiple points.
Okay.
Multiple points stretch out, trying to reach towards these people that you want to help. Okay. You watch as the man with the beard, he starts to make his way over, kind of trying to keep up, trying to reach towards one of the spikes. He slips under the wave and does not come back.
Oh, okay. I would like to try to swim under to see if I can see him under the water.
Okay. You already had a pretty high perception, so I'm just going to let you run with that for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You dive under, and you're upside down.
Oh.
And there's moving shapes in the water. And you're not sure which way is up anymore.
Oh no.
and you're starting to lose air as you can see small bubbles starting to escape your mouth.
Which direction are the bubbles going?
Kind of clearing your mind, you see that the bubbles are going kind of like to the side of you, that you're kind of at just almost just completely flat in the water, like you're standing almost.
Oh, there's nothing underneath me though, to like...
You can't see below or above,
Okay.
It's too dark.
I will attempt to swim towards the direction of the bubbles.
All right.
I will also, while I'm swimming, cast dancing lights around me to see if I can. It helps the clarity of the water, so I can see what's around.
Okay. You go to cast dancing lights. I would like you to roll me a d20 real fast.
Okay. 19.
Okay. You cast dancing lights. And you're not exactly, it's the things you see that move around you, and it's not the people you had lost, and you don't recognize these faces and their twisted and angry expressions. As you start to swim up and you break the surface, you can see that the woman you had seen earlier has been able to grasp onto one of the spikes. That's the only person you see.
Oh, I'll swim up to where she is, and ask, hello, can you help? There are more under the water. I'm sorry, I don't know, I don't really understand what happened, and I'm sorry, I don't really remember you, but I know that this is very bad. I'm so sorry.
She looks to you with fear in the eyes, and she opens her mouth, and all you hear are the cries of a baby.
Oh.
Meanwhile,
Oh.
okay. Cordrek, you're following the group. They're a good bit ahead of you, long legs and all. Producer, you're not muted.
Tordrick's tripping.
He's what's
tripping.
happening?
What did I drink? He says to himself. What did I drink?
I'm tripping. Good tension breaker.
Little marshmallow.
I love it.
Charms of the Nine Sisters. New cereal for breakfast.
Ooh, a delicious treat. Tordrek, you are making your way, following your friends, and they're getting a good bit ahead of you. And you kind of, you do your best to keep up like you always do.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel a sensation behind you, and you recognize that your locate object, the sled, is moving.
Everyone, the sled is moving. I can tell. We must go back. We must go back. It's being stolen. He turns around and just starts pushing his way back.
Tordrek, when you turn around, you're surrounded by stone tunnels, no longer the white walls that you had seen before. And they're long and expansive and dark. They're incredibly familiar, and as you look around, you don't see the entrance. It's just this long expanse of tunnel. And when you glance behind you, you don't hear your friends and you don't see them. It's just more long, winding tunnels that all look the same and are quiet and empty. And it's just you.
Tordrick takes a deep sigh and begins walking curiously.
Okay. Would you roll me perception, please? Either perception or investigation.
Perception, a 15.
Okay. As you're walking, The walls all look the same to you. The floors, the ceilings, just this kind of unfinished cut stone. And something catches your eye for a moment, and it's your hands. And when you look at them, they're old and wrinkled. And when you look at your hands, you can see your beard, which is white and long and unmanaged. How long have you been here? You don't remember? Did you make them up? Did you ever get out? Maybe you've been here the whole time and you hallucinated these experiences and gave yourself joy, and you have just been walking in the tunnels of Verdentoft for years.
This doesn't seem right. I must be dreaming. Tordrick turns around rather quickly and begins running back to where his friends were, where he left them, sweating and trying to forget, moving as quickly as he can through the tunnels, looking for his friends. He starts yelling for them. We must find. Where are you? Help! Where is everyone at? Please help me. We need the. Everything is gone. Everything is going.
You're so tired. You're out of breath, and you realize you're hungry, and you've been hungry for a long time. Just so incredibly tired.
I can't give up. I must find them. We can't let the sleds go. I did my best. He takes a deep breath. And it's tough, but he does it. And then he starts moving in the direction he thinks his friends are in. And he starts singing a song that makes him feel better. That's what he needs to do, is make himself feel better. Yes, we need to stay happy. Not like the times before. And he begins walking and singing a song.
Okay. Tordrek, you continue moving down the halls, pushing through just the aches and pains, which you then realize are from old age and dehydration. And it just feels like something is following you. And each time, if you glance back, nothing is there, and you don't know what is in pursuit. As you move as quickly as you can down the halls, keeping your breath, trying to sing, trying to keep yourself motivated, trying to find your friends, as you continue down expanse and expanse of the same tunnel.
Stop. I can't handle it anymore. I must move. And Tordrick squints. He squints to see if he can see anything. A friend, anyone, any living thing.
Okay.
Not being alone.
You strain your eyes, looking into the dark corridors ahead, hoping to find someone, anything. Meanwhile, Roshan, you're walking with your friends, and you continue down these corridors, and you get to a part where it splits into 6 hallways. Nana suggests that it'll be fine if you split up just for a moment, and that it'll be easy enough to find each other. And you see that each person just starts to disappear down their individual hallway.
Roshan will stay and watch them go for 10 or 15 seconds, and then if there's no funny business, start to move down his own hallway.
Okay. You watch them all disappear. Sagi even gives you a little bit of a wave as she skips off down her own hallway. You don't hear anything strange, and the hallways seem to be pretty well lit. And you start to move down your hall. You see that it is an expanse of gold, and there's white stone. And similar to Broggy's door, you find a large golden door ahead of you after walking for a period of time. And you're not exactly sure how long, but you eventually find a golden door.
Are there any specific markings or depictions on the doorway?
It shows a very similar depiction of Broggy's door with the woman with the spread arms.
I guess he'll just attempt to open it.
Okay. You push the door, and it is incredibly heavy on your own, but you're able to push it open. You struggle for a moment, and you're inside, and it looks incredibly similar to Broggy's tomb. And you look to where he had sat upon his throne, and it's not Broggy. You see a beautiful woman sitting there, arms taken from the body littered with corruption, kind of pulsing and oozing from her body, moving along her. You can see just a face of anguish and pain as she cries out and she starts to try and pull at the restraints on her body. You know who this is. You look at her corrupted, blackened skin that starts to peel and rip as she tries to free herself.
He stands there in shock for a couple moments and then turns around to see if the door is still open.
The door is closed. And now it looks like more of a wall, no slit in the middle.
Roshan will call out and say, Rose? Rose, is that you?
The head snaps towards you, aggressive and quick, and you see the eyes darting, kind of small, full of fear as she makes eye contact with you, breathing heavy. And you can just see where, just like around her stomach and chest, where the skin has just been ripped off by who knows how long of being stuck there and being corrupted for this long. She begins to try and pull at the restraints as she begins to scream and cry, looking at you.
Does she seem like she has recognized me, or looks like she understands human emotions still?
Roll insight.
Ooh. That's gonna be a 12.
Okay. You can see that it seems human, but you've seen so many strange things, and she's on the other side of the room. You can't get that good of an insight of the situation from where you are.
I will start approaching her cautiously and see if she notices me.
As you slowly make your way forward, there's a moment of calm where she stops and she looks at you. And her head slowly tilts to the side and then back again. And you hear a crunching sound as she starts to push against the restraints, and you hear the snap of her rib cage as she pushes against it, and you watch as her back starts to extend and elongate, hunching over as she begins to pull herself free from the throne.
Rose, can you hear me?
Her eyes unfocus, and she frees herself. Her skin sloughs off as she pulls herself free. And you see the exposed bone of the horrible corruption monsters you had seen prior. She makes eye contact with you, eyes unfocused, and makes a beeline towards you, running on all fours, crazed in the face.
Roshan will scream at her, no! And immediately, I think his eyes turn black, and the halo he wears on his body, like a tattoo, forms into a halo around his head, and he unleashes his dark form.
All right. The crown of awe moves around your visage and your eyes darken as almost in slow motion you see the world around you as the woman that was once your sister, now a horrible monster, makes her way towards you. Meanwhile, Fen, you're at the head of the group, making sure things are safe, like you do. You're ahead a good bit, not too much. You can see your friends are not too far behind. Tordrek may be the farthest behind at a solid 20 feet tops, but you're taking the lead. As you make your way forward, you don't see anything that seems to be too much of an issue. It's very quiet here. Truly only the sounds of the footsteps of your friends behind you. You enter a room that has a long stone bridge across it. You can see the entrance at the other side, which you can see a glowing light emanating from, something warming and calming and good. And you hear a murmur of excitement from the people behind you. But there is about a little bit less than a 5-foot expanse widthwise of this bridge where the floor has not fallen out, but it seems sturdy enough.
Are the rest of the party within earshot of me?
Oh yeah, they're pretty close behind.
Careful up here. The bridge seems a little rough. I'll go first and investigate, make sure it's sturdy. But there's a light coming from across the way, and I'll make my way across.
All right, everybody murmurs their excitement. Nana gives you a nod as you make your way across. They watch you and see that you're not having too much difficulty. So you hear Nana, "We're going to follow just a bit behind. I don't want to get separated." And
Just be careful. It's
of course, she starts to make her way slowly across, followed by one friend and then the next. All of you are now on this expanse of bridge. And you look back to check on them for just a moment. You're near the end. It's been pretty sturdy so far. You look back to check on them, and there's that similar sensation. You've felt it before where your body begins to tense and you cannot move. Your jaw is stuck, and you see that you're not the only one feeling this. All of your friends frozen in place, stuck on this bridge. You can see Nana's eyes. She's the closest to you, as her eyes kind of dart about, all of them looking towards you, you the only one looking back. And you can see a different light moving onto the bridge into the room. And you hear this similar tap of feet on the ground, and you see Bragi enter. And he looks stronger, kind of an illumination to him, a strength that he did not have prior, a smug look on his face as he moves forward and makes his way into the room, smiling as he looks amongst the group, all unable to move or speak. They are stuck. Would you like to tell me what you're thinking?
I'm terrified because I know the precarious situation that we're in, and I want to call out, but I can't make the words happen. I want to tell the rest of the party to be careful, that no one else should be on this bridge. We need to get off of this bridge. It can't hold more weight, let alone, this god that's staring us down.
You try your best, trying to speak, trying to warn them. You can see Nana is trying to read your face, but she doesn't know what's behind her, and you can't warn her. You can't warn any of them. And you watch as Bragi makes his way forward, and the first person he gets to is Tordrek on his right, and Saga just a step or two ahead of him. You watch as he brushes the hair, kind of from behind, he brushes the hair out of Saga's face. And he looks over at you, and he smiles. I just want to talk. And he takes a step forward. You can just see now, you're used to his gaunt face and body, and he's looked tired, but this is different, full of strength and this confidence that wasn't there before. And it's, you don't know what's more sickening to you, who he was before or who he is now. He looks to Saga, and he looks back to you. You should have trusted your instincts. And you watch as he pushes Tordrek off the side of the bridge. Tordrek's body stiff, tumbles over the side and out of view, and you hear a crunch sound. And he steps up even with Saga. Would you like to tell me what you're thinking? Or if there's something you'd like to try to do?
I'm straining against my paralysis. I'm trying to shout. I'm trying to get someone else to notice. I'm trying to pull a weapon, trying to do anything.
Okay. Would you please give me a strength roll?
Saving or ability check?
Ability.
Natural one.
No matter what you do, you are stuck, and they are stuck. And even when you try to look about, your eyes stay forward, unblinking, looking at your friends. Bragi looks over Saga, and then looks over the edge where Tordrek had fallen. One ant. And looks to Saga. Two ants. And pushes Saga over the side of the bridge. And you watch as her stiff body falls over the edge. And for a moment, you can see on her face just the look of betrayal. And she is gone into the darkness below. While this is happening, okay. Gorbjorn, your friends are leading the charge and you're coming in hot about the middle of the group. Everybody seems to be kind of full of a new exuberance. They're kind of, you get to see the group pretty excited and you hear them talking amongst themselves, and there's just a camaraderie there that you're listening to, and it's kind of nice. Nobody's exactly speaking to you, but there is just something nice about being part of something. You eventually get to a large golden door, and all of them stop and they look at it. And Nana turns to you while the others begin to push it open. Gorbjorn, I'm going to need you to stay right here, okay? We can handle it inside, so don't worry about it. If anybody comes, you just tell us.
No, I must. I have to.
Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. And it's very quick. And she was in front of you, and now she's at the door, and you watch as it closes.
I tried as hard as I can, just pushing at it. Just
Okay.
trying to push it open.
You start pushing at this door, standing alone in this room. And it won't budge. You saw that multiple people in the group had to push to get it open, and you on your own are unable. And I'd like you to roll perception for me, please. I'll give you advantage.
Thank you. Oh, natural 20.
The world, you hear all of it. You listen, and you can hear footsteps on the other side. And you hear somebody gasp. And you hear the cracking of stone, and you hear a roar of some sort of monster from within, and you can hear a combat starting to take place of something big.
Behind the doors?
Yes.
Angry. I have to rage, and I'm just pushing as hard as I can against this door.
You push as hard as you can, and you hear something that sounds from the other side of the door, like blood splattering across it, just the tent, like the drops hitting the door, and you hear bodies start to fall, and you cannot move this door. But with your perception, through your anger, you can see right out of the corner of your eye a small opening that you hadn't seen before next to the door that you think you can just fit inside of to crawl through.
Of course, I have to go for any opening I have. So I'm going to army call through that.
Okay. You start to move through it. At first, it's definitely a tight fit, but as you go, it starts to push your elbows in closer and closer. And then there's a point where you're stuck. And you can't go forward and you can't go backwards. What would you like to do?
If I'm stuck, then Bjorn would be just screaming his head off, but I'm assuming after minutes and minutes of screaming, it turns into a slight sob until he's just fully just just tucked in his arms.
Gorbjorn, you lay in this small hole, unable to break free, stuck in kind of a fetal position, sobbing, and you can see ahead of you, you can see the exit. You can see that it's there, the other side, but you cannot fit, and you cannot go back, and you see the ground is covered in blood. And you recognize a hand that just kind of lays just in view, and it's quiet now on the other side. And the blood just seeps forward into the hole, and it kind of presses against your cheek. It does not rise higher than that, but you know they're all gone.
At that point, I can't even like breathe as I'm trying to scream. It's just as I just am trying to move forward.
All right. I would like you to give me an athletics check, please.
18.
Okay. It hurts, but you press in your shoulders and you can hear popping sounds as you do your best to push forward, and eventually, even with the slick floor of the blood beneath you, you push forward and forward, kind of crazed. This isn't rage. And you break free from this hole. And you're not in the room you expected to be in, and it's not much bigger. You can see that you're inside of a cage, that you had crawled into a cage, and the way back is now gone. And you can see shadows of people moving about, taller and bigger than you, as you sit alone in this very small cage, unable to stand up.
I'd be reaching for any weapon I have, finding it's not there at all. It like lost and confused.
Okay. As you look around, you reach for something and realize you have nothing on you. You don't have anything to use to protect yourself, barely able to expand your arms forward, and you see just heavy footsteps as somebody stops in front of you. Meanwhile, Nana. You have the team behind you. You have Fen a little bit ahead. The corridor is slick with ice, but you guys take it slow, and it's easy enough to continue forward. You end up approaching an archway, and you can see it leads into a large room that is beautiful and ornate, but it is dark around the walls. And you can see before you, beautiful and large and glowing, a golden torch in the center of the room, and all of your friends behind you, and they look at you and they nod.
Is it then? I hope. Nana's going to kind of try to keep an eye on the walls. Any place there's darkness, she's a little uneasy about.
Okay.
Then mind the perimeter, will you?
Fen gives you a nod, and he starts to look around, and you see that he kind of does that thing where he slips into shadows, and he starts to patrol.
All right. Nana's gonna make her way carefully towards the torch. Who knows what the previous visitors might have left behind, traps or whatever else. So she'll make her way carefully but steadily to the torch. And if the way is clear, she'll try to reach for it.
All right. You walk forward, unimpeded, confidence filling your chest. It seems nothing's here to fight you. You don't know if whatever was maybe here died a long time ago. It could have died in the explosion. If there was some sort of guard, it is gone. And it is you walking unimpeded towards the torch, and you reach out for it, and it's out of reach. And it slowly kind of spins and lowers until it is within your grasp. Would you like to take it?
Nana's going to try to reach out and take it.
Your hands wrap around this torch, and you are now holding the weight of it. It's a bit heavy, but you're able to hold it easy enough. And you hear clapping. You hear cheers and excitement around you, and it's from your friends, and it's from people all around you. You recognize people from Galunder. You recognize your mother is there, and they're cheering, and you can just see just excitement and relief on everyone's faces as you have finally accomplished what you were set out to do. You have finished your mission, and everyone is safe. You take a step forward, and there's a bit of a stumble, and you grip the torch tight, trying to hold on to it, and your fingers like dig in, just kind of like the trees that you had experienced in the valley, and it just crumbles in your hands, and there is silence. There is no longer cheering, and it's eyes upon you. Faces of excitement have turned to faces of anguish and fear, and you watch as thump. Somebody in the darkness falls, and then another, and another, as people start to drop all around you.
No. No, no, no. We've done it. We've found it.
Clutch at these broken pieces, which no longer glow bright and beautiful. It's like rocks in your hand. It's nothing.
I've got to fix this. I've got to fix this.
Okay. How are you going to try to fix this? Are you trying to just put it back together the best you can?
I've fixed a bow in the field before. Fit the pieces together best as I can. Find anything in my pack that's sticky, anything that might be tacky like tar or wax or whatever I can find, anything. Fix it together best as I can. Maybe someone in the party can magic it together properly. I've got to put it together first. I can fix this.
All right. You set yourself down on the ground and you pull off your backpack and you start to dig through it, looking for something to help you fix it. And the darkness is slowly moving in around you, and you realize you're alone and that everyone else has fallen as the room starts to darken.
Fen?
No reply.
Roshan?
Nothing.
Kovion?
Oh, hi.
There are no replies as you call out each of your friends' names in this darkness. And then for a moment, you are completely engulfed and you cannot see anything. It's like the nights that you're on watch, except there is no fire, and you sit alone in this darkness, unable to see, stuck in the center of this room. And you hear the sound of something sliding across the floor. I would like you to roll either intelligence or perception, insight, something, any of those, whichever one.
Okay. Perception, intelligence, or insight. Okay. I'm gonna go for perception.
Okay.
15?
Okay. You recognize the sound. It's the sound of the sled moving across stone. And you can hear it moving in the darkness, and it comes to a stop. It's a little bit of ways from you. And you watch as it's illuminated by a spotlight, just the sled with your brother's body atop it, which has been wrapped in this tent, and it lays there in this only place of illuminated light. And as you look to it, you watch it sits up straight in its spot. And with a crack, its spine snaps upwards. The head snaps to an angle to look towards you, fully engulfed in this tent tapestry. But you can see where black ooze starts to seep through the tent's fabric where the eyes and the mouth would be. And you watch as just darkness, shadow erupt from multiple points like a spider, and he rises up on these legs, a strange cocoon with these legs protruding from within. And it starts to make its way towards you quickly, scampering through the darkness.
Stop! Oh, no, please!
You watch as he moves towards you quickly. There's this ooze covering the face. It starts to completely engulf the tapestry around him, staining it black. Saga.
Bill.
Made your way to the pillar. And you can see the woman who, when she opens her mouth, baby cries come out. And she closes her mouth and they stop. And for a moment you think, and you're not sure why, I'm not sure which one is worse.
Yeah, when she hears that, she kind of stops for a second, and she doesn't know why. It's a baby crying, and that's bad, but it's affecting her so much. She wants to try to swim towards the woman and touch her or hug her or to tell it's okay. It's okay.
You move across the pillar and you make your way over trying to reach her. And you get her head in your hands and you're cradling this woman who is limp in your arms. And you see before you a huge cliff that the water begins to run off of the room like a waterfall, and you stand at the precipice.
Oh. I look around. Do I see? Is there anyone else? I need to stop. There's people in the water. I want to try to stop the water from falling. There's people in the water.
You look around and you look for these people you had seen, and you don't see them. There's only the woman in your arms laying there silent and unmoving. You can see that her chest moves a little, but it is not the movements of a healthy person, and you can see that each kind of intake of breath is starting to get kind of more distant, that there's time between it.
I try to revive, tap her on the head, give her, try to pat her back, get the water out of her lungs, try to help her.
Okay. You do your best to try and help this woman who is almost inexplicable. You don't know why she's important to you, and you don't know who she is, and you don't know why she sounds the way she does, but you don't want her to die.
She's the only thing left. There's only one thing left.
As you look around, you see no one else. All you see is this huge cliff and there are sharp rocks and waves beneath you crashing against it. I'd like you to roll a religion check for me, please.
Oh. Okay. 17.
Okay. As your eyes sort of hone in onto this waterfall of your own making,
I'm just petting her head.
you hear a voice, and you can't place it. Sorrow, daughter.
Are you speaking to me? Who is this? Please help. Please.
And you hear the wind rushing around you. Sorrow, daughter. You know what must be done in situations of such sorrow.
I'm so sorry. I don't remember. I can't remember anything. What do I do? Please, just help. Please. Give me some kind of guidance. I just... What do I... I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't remember.
As you look over the edge, you hear a crunch, and you see it's your own body, like a second you, which has flung itself over and hit into the rocks. And you see one of the people from the waves stands and walks away. And then you see another one of yourself fling itself forward, crunch, body broken on the rocks. Another one of the people who fell amongst the waves stands and goes off. And you can see them alive and well, leaving the cliff.
Sagas. Tears are flowing down her face, and she looks at the woman and just pulls her in for a hug and gives her a small kiss on the forehead and lays her down, and then stands and then closes her eyes and just begins walking towards the cliff. And
the edge, you can feel your toes just right over the side.
She says, I just want to help. I just want happiness. She just steps over.
You step over the edge of this cliff, and the rush of the world flies past you as you just fall and fall and fall. And you hear a deafening crunch, and there's darkness. Tordrek. You don't know how long you've been looking for your friends now. Years. 10, 20, 30. You look at your body and you can see that it's thin and tired. You remember having a pack, and you remember it growing empty. And the halls all look the same.
I must pray. If I pray, I've got to find the power to do it. Tordrick gets on his knees, barely able to take his little pieces, his little idols, and he begins to whisper with his last breaths. I got help. Everyone's gone. They're my life. What's to live for? Having others. Please. I'll do anything. Please help me. And he begins to weep. And cry. And beg of the Nine Sisters to help him.
You sit down and pray, more begging at this point, pleading, as you cry, as you weep over these idols, which you see aren't how you remembered them. They seem to just be kind of broken pieces of wood and rock you found along the way. I would like you to roll a religion check for me, please. I will give you advantage.
A 5 and a 6.
You can feel your body just growing tired and your shoulders arched, and you're almost crying seems to take too much energy, and the echoes of your sobs fade from you and they fade from the walls around you, and it's quiet. And go ahead.
Tordrick grabs his drinking horn. Kind of just a thing to do at this point. He's thinking to himself, knowing there's nothing in there, and thinking of the importance of having everyone there to be there for. Touching the bare horn to his lips, he begins to think about the first people he met after traveling long ago in the caverns, walking away from everything. He goes back to praying. The breath's even harder to take in.
The world around you starts to grow a bit fuzzy as you try to remain sitting up. And it just starts to get very dark and very quiet.
Tordrick pulls himself up using the rock, takes a deep breath, wipes away a few tears, and screams as loud as he can, and begins to run in the caverns. Whether this kills him or not, he will run until he finds someone to help him or to help the others.
Okay. With energy you didn't even think was possible, and it didn't matter if it was, because you have to try one more time, and you can feel that looming presence behind you as you begin to run and run, and you watch as the walls whiz around you, rapid fire, running so fast, and you don't know now if you're running towards something, away from something, both. And ahead of you, you see something different. Roshan, your sister, once sister, is moving towards you as you have now levitated into the air. She is going to attempt to swipe and claw and gnash at you. What are you going to do?
Roshan gathers all of his magical energy, all of the energy he has to cast spells, all of the energy that's in his dark radiant form, and tries to use that energy to both defend himself and put his sister out of her misery.
Okay. You begin to fight, and it is not like the combats you had been in before. It is movements in the dark, and there's pain as something gnashes out and rips at you, and there's equal amounts of pain when you also gnash out and rip, and her pain is your pain, And each time you strike her, you can see darkness starting to move onto your fingers, but stopping seems impossible as you are locked in this combat, this unending spinning of this dark tornado that is you and this combat. And you cannot slip out of this form you have entered. You are trapped, and all you know is defending yourself and helping her. There's nothing you can see past it.
I think he just, after a while, loses faith in his movements, gets sloppy to feel something again, and eventually is overtaken by the monstrous form of his sister.
As this darkness consumes you and makes its way over you, and you can see just this corruption getting to cover inch by inch. Is this what she meant? Is this being together again, being one? And darkness begins to consume you. Fen. Broggy is making his way through the room. 2 people already gone. You can hear him humming a song. It sounds like the one from his tomb. And as you glance around, doing whatever you can to try and break free, there has to be a way to help. You can see past the bridge beneath you, where your eyes just get glances. Bodies among bodies. So many women. You watch as you guys glance back up, and Gorbjorn falls off the bridge, pushed, and sinks into, it's no longer a cracking sound. It's just sinking into the ooze that is this combination, this amalgamation of bodies. And then it's Gorbjorn, then it's Roshan, and the last person that stands in front of you is
and
not.
this whole time I've been screaming internally. Fenn's been screaming internally and just straining. And at this point, he just stops. He's not screaming anymore. He's not trying to fight. He's trying to cry and beg.
Okay.
He just wants to say that this is his fault. Please stop. Just take me and end it. Stop.
You aren't able to say it out loud, but it's like he hears all of it. And you see Broggy looks up at you. Do you think I worry myself with the emotions and the sadness of bugs? And he puts his hand against Nana's shoulder. And he slowly starts to push. It's like moving a statue, and her body starts to tilt. And you can see her eyes looking around the room rapidly, looking for something, and then focusing in on you. As she starts to tilt and tilt until she falls off the bridge and disappears into this ooze. And your eyes, you can't pull them away from this collection of corpses. And you see a woman's face, a face you haven't seen in a little bit of a while. She's in there too, unmoving, The room is now bloody, and the scent of iron and copper is in your nose, and Bragi slowly makes his way towards you. You can feel his breath on your face as he stands now taller than you, broader than you, kind of sizing you up. And there's just this unenthused indifference. Nana, this corrupted version of your brother, legs of a spider sprouted out of its body, wrapped in this tarp, start to move towards you. What would you like to do?
Going to stand up, and I'm going to throw whatever's left of the torch into my pack and pull my spears out, cross them before me defensively, and shout out, Ave, I don't want to do this, but I will if I have to. Golveg, help me!
And there's just this roar from this monster that just is no longer human, and you can see that black ooze, that the force of this roar, just like droplets of dark, just push forth from the fabric and spread. And you defend yourself.
I'm sorry.
Doing what you can to survive. You begin to fight this monstrosity before you that was once a man, and a man you failed.
And I know it.
It is a fight of Ave just like slipping into shadows, and the sound of little feet, little sharp pointed spider feet moving across the floor. And his face breaks free of the fabric, and you can see that it is white and skeletal, almost like a doll's face.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. I'm sorry.
You run forward, locked in combat. Meanwhile, Tordrek and Saga, both of you feel the world rushing past you rapidly, and then Tordrek, you see the end, and you crash into it. Saga, as you crash amongst the rocks, darkness covers both of your vision. And then you're standing in a room. It's a room that is all white stone. You see 5 pillars in the center, not evenly spaced. Multiple segments on each of them. Strange setup of these 5 pillars. And you can see ice covering the walls and sticking down like icicles. And you see your friends standing kind of in a circle around the outer edges of the room. All of them standing, unmoving, eyes closed, and you can hear just soft whimpers. But both of you, broken free from your torment, now stand amongst your friends. You can catch each other's eye line and see that you are both awake. What would you like to do?
Oh, Saga runs towards Tordrick, going to give him a hug. Oh, you're muted.
He's just so excited.
You're muted, Tordrick.
I'm sorry about that. Tordrick runs, and he trips over his own feet to get to her, and scuffles over and puts his arms around her legs and goes, I didn't think I would see anyone again. Or you.
Yeah. Everyone died. I saw
Yes.
everyone.
Everybody was gone.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
I,
I
I've got to think of everyone else more, and I've got to help everyone else much more. I'm always thinking about myself and my drinking and having a good time for myself. And I've got to think more of others because that is how we will all stick together.
I, I don't even know. I think I need to stop. My magic is so dangerous. I think I,
It helps others, though. It helps others. He
I,
gets up. It helps all of us. It saved our lives. We just
I don't think so. I saw everyone die, and I think it was my fault.
everyone. Let's look on with me too. Everyone was gone. It felt so real.
It did.
But this place is much different. It
Yes.
is. And there they are. Well, we we must go help them and see what they're doing.
Yes.
I'm tired, but I feel like I'm feeling better. I'm so glad to see you. So glad to see you.
Oh, me
I'm so
too.
glad.
So glad I remember everything right.
Yes.
Oh,
Everything's come back.
oh, she's crying again just from happiness. I'm
Here,
so glad I remember you.
take my hand. Take my hand and let's go see our friends, okay? Let's go
Okay,
see our friends.
let's go.
And Tordrick leads the way and he starts singing a song to make Saga feel better and to make himself feel better too, of course.
Who would you guys like to go see first? None of your friends are very close. Each of them is about, the closest people are about 15 feet from each other. They're spread about the room. Who would you like to go to first?
Tordrick goes, who would you like to see first?
Oh, yes, everybody. I think if I remember correctly, the last person I saw in my vision was Nana. I think.
All right. Let's go see her then. Let's go see her.
Yeah.
You both quickly make your way over to Nana. You can see her standing. She is on the right side of the room near the middle against the wall. And her eyes are closed and she's a bit slumped. And you can see that her cheeks are stained with tears and her body moves sort of in a heaving position of sobs. And you can just hear almost, it's not exactly that the sounds are of crying, but it's like breathing hard, like she's exerting herself, like she is in, like you have heard before in a combat.
Tordrick gets on his knees and begins praying for her to the Nine Sisters
Okay.
that she will break free of her fear.
Saga just gives her a hug and just starts saying, "It's okay, Nana. It's not real. It's okay."
Nana, you drive your spear through his chest. And there's a screech like a wild animal, and the legs scamper and are unable to support the weight. And he falls to the ground. And you know that's not the end of it, that there's more that has to be done. And as you feel yourself going closer and closer to his body, knowing what you have to do, you feel arms wrap around you. And you hear a soft woman's voice. It's okay. It's okay.
Do I recognize the voice?
I would say so. It takes you a moment as your brain kind of catches up, kind of pushes through the fog that is your mind. Tordrek, would you give me a religion roll with advantage, please?
15?
Okay. As you pray, you hear a woman's voice in your head as well. This one, not as familiar. the first step to overcoming fear is embracing it.
Tordrick stands up and he sees that Saga is holding on to Nana, and he goes over and slowly does the same
Okay.
and puts his head on her side, right on the side of her body right here, and holds on to her and just closes his eyes and hopes for the best.
Nana,
Believing in her.
you feel this warmth as another set of arms, this time also very comforting, wrap around you. And you can hear a woman's voice that you do not recognize. And you hear softly, embrace it.
Nana will walk up to where Ave's corrupted body has fallen, and still feeling the warm, comforting arms around her and drawing strength from it as if she were drawing breath, a drowning man. She wraps her arms around Ave and pulls him to her chest, and she says, "I'm sorry. I'll do everything I can. It wasn't what I wanted, but I'll do all I can, I promise."
You hold this corrupted body against yours. It's now limp in your arms. And you hear another voice, this time speaking into your ear. You're doing just fine. And darkness clouds your vision, and then the world opens up again, and you are in the room with the 5 pillars and the gold on the walls and the icicles and your 2 friends holding on to you.
We're here. We're here. We're okay.
And she's going to pull them both to her and hold on tight. And she can't let go. She can't let go for a minute, maybe. And this is the most openly that they've probably ever seen her cry. I mean, maybe some other people in the party may have seen her cry before. She doesn't know that they're not available just now, but she'll come around.
You cry, holding on to your friends, and they hold on to you. Once all of you are able to compose yourself and feel safe letting go, you can see the rest of your friends standing about the room. And this is where we are going to take our break for tonight. We are going to take a 10-minute break. You are welcome to go get your tissues and a nice stiff drink, whatever you need to do. I'm sure the party will be doing something similar. We will be back in 10 minutes. If you'd like to stick around, we can get back to the story then. The party is stuck in some sort of horrible, near seeming endless expanse of dread, of something from the deepest parts of themselves. So far, 3 of our party have been able to break free. We have Saga and Tordrek and Nana. Saga and Tordrek, after embracing Nana, she then embraced the corrupted corpse of her brother and was brought back into reality, back to where her friends are. You can see the rest of the group is standing about the room. You can hear the soft, kind of muffled sounds of sobs and breathing just softly echoing off the walls around you. What would you guys like to do?
We must wake everyone else.
Yes, we must.
We'll have to help them, I suppose, as you two helped me.
Yes.
Yes.
What did you do?
Oh, I just.
Give you a hug. He kind of
Yeah.
laughs. Let's go hug someone else, huh?
Who's next? Who's next in line? Who's next closest?
Your pick.
Nana, from where you are standing, the closest person to you is Gorbjorn.
Moving on to Gobion then.
Saga, runs over and poof. Probably jumps to grab
Yeah,
on.
you know, he's a tall boy.
Yeah.
Georgia goes,
Nana's
don't break
going
him. Don't
to
break him.
come in next to Saga, wrap her arms around Gorbjorn's chest, and hold him tight.
Tordrick goes, runs over, and slides down and puts one arm around his leg and puts his head there and starts
Yeah.
humming.
I mean, like, tall boy.
Yeah, Saga does the same thing as she'd done with I almost said Mac, with Nana, and just it's okay. We're here. It's okay. Everyone's okay.
All right.
You'll be all right, Gorbjorn. You'll be all right.
Gorbjorn, you sit in this cage, and the heavy sounds of boots stop in front of you, and you can hear men talking as you sit alone in this cage. And you haven't felt this small in a long time. You almost feel like you're a child.
Gorbjorn says he can't hear.
Oh no.
Technical difficulties.
Go hug somebody else.
Yeah.
Tordrick starts praying, please hear us, please hear us.
Please, please, please,
Oh
please,
my
please.
God.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's good.
It works, hallelujah.
It's my worst fear.
Praise the Night Sisters!
Oh, Lord.
Okay. We didn't get very far, so it's fine.
We all ran
We
up, gave
came
you
running up
hugs.
and gave you a group hug.
Yes.
Oh, on me?
Yeah.
Yes, on you. You're the next
Okay.
closest.
They all ran over. They wrapped their arms around you, told you that they're there and that it's okay. I went back to your perspective of being in this cage, and you can see these two heavy boots have stopped in front of you, and you feel incredibly small. You feel like a child compared to these boots in front of you, and you can hear men's voices talking, and it's like you're surrounded, and it's overwhelming, just the height around you, the mass of bodies, these tall figures. You can see that the floor around you is covered in some old or some pretty fresh blood, but you are alone in this cage.
This ritual has been etched into my bones from a young age as I'm like clawing and screaming and trying to fight my way out of this cage. In Orcish, I'm yelling, I strong, I fierce, I loyal.
You continue to yell out and try to break free. And you can hear, it was hard to understand the Orcish voices around you. And you can hear one speaking to another. Too weak for fields or work.
Dad, no! Or, Dad, no!
As he gets smaller and smaller.
Ah.
And you hear the sound of an unsheathing weapon. And then at first it's startling as you feel arms wrap around you, but they're small. and then a second set, and a third set. And you can feel warmth coming from these arms inside this very cold cage. And you watch as these footsteps start to make their way closer, and you hear these voices saying, "It's okay, we're here, it's fine." And they sound familiar, but so far away and distant. And you hear a voice you don't recognize. Embrace your fear. What would you like to do as you feel these arms around you, holding you close?
In Orcish, I shout, "I'm better than you, Dad!"
The footsteps stop. And you can see the world rushing around these legs that stand solid. And it looks like they're struggling to make their way closer to you, but they are still coming as the world spins around you and these arms hold you closer and tighter.
I shout last moment, it's like, "You are not my dad!"
And you watch as the heels of these boots try to dig into the ground as they're slid backwards. And it looks like he is caught up into the tornado of the world around you as it rushes about and the cage begins to rip and tear apart. And you realize you're doing it. You are tearing this cage apart. And then there is darkness. And then you are surrounded by your friends, all holding on to you in this room with white stone and gold and these pillars.
I take
You're
all
going
of
to be
them,
all right.
bear hug, and I spin them around as I'm like,
Gobion!
Stop like
You're
the spinach
awake, I
wall.
see!
"I miss you!" Oh!
Door spinning's not allowed.
I told you you'd be all right. Oh, are you okay? Are you all right, Gobion?
It's like, he's like wiping his face. It's like,
Nana kind
sleep.
of reaches up with like an edge of her cloak and kind of like dabs away at the tears. I understand. I know. But the others aren't awake yet. We've got more work to do.
Yes.
Okay. If you look about the room from where you guys are, you can see Roshan and Fen. They're on the opposite side of the room to you. Roshan is technically closer.
Roshan.
I guess progressing around.
Let's all
Roshan's
go.
next.
Yes.
Come on.
Let's make haste.
All right.
Saga's grabbing whoever hand she can. But it doesn't really.
George's grabbing everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just everyone. who-
Imagine
lower weight.
Gorbjorn just
No.
grabbing everybody and hoisting them over his
All
shoulder.
right.
I was like, I take everybody to Roshan.
Oh. You all make
We're
your
coming for you next, Fen.
He's getting the group. He's getting the full group.
the whole group.
The whole group hug.
You make your way to Roshan,
Sorry.
and comparatively to what some of you have seen with the others, Roshan is, you can see that there were tears. He's just very quiet and still. And you can just feel some sort of it almost feels like giving up. What would you guys like to do?
Tordrick,
You're not giving up on us yet.
when Tordrick goes to grab onto his leg, he's going to with his hand he's going to knock on his leg and play a beat. Now
Oh, we got an
Tordrick's
error on stream. I'm seeing the Twitch and it seems like there's an error.
Uh-oh.
Sorry if I'm.
It looks okay on mine. Mine is kind of lagged a bit behind, but
Sometimes it
I
does that.
can't watch the Twitch stream
Yeah.
at the same time. I have shitternet.
I got shittier than that. I got the same thing.
It
We
looks
must
like
have the same provider.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
So Tordrick, when Tordrick goes to hold on to him, Tordrick is gonna take his hand and think about a song that both of them used to play together. And now Tordrick, he tries to sing, but he's terrible at it. He's got no sense of rhythm. But he's gonna try to offbeat, try to hit like this sense of music on his leg by playing a beat, which is going to be like bop, 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 more like jazz improvisation than a true good steady beat. But he's going to give it a shot to see if that inspires him.
Okay, Saga.
Yeah, if Saga can kind of hear what Bjorn is doing, Tordrek is doing, she'll put her arms around and kind of just start to hum. Maybe hum that song that he used to hum for the dome, just to try to, yeah.
Bjorn, what would you like to do?
Violently shake him.
Everyone is shaking.
Roshan.
Oh, the other way!
Lay
Mosh pit.
in a tar-like substance. Your body just stuck to the ground and slowly sinking into this ooze as you watch corruption make its way up your arms. And you can just see like this distended, broken mouth of what was once your sister just opening wider and wider to consume you, to make you one. And you feel arms wrap around you, a moment of warmth, a bit of fear at first of being consumed, but then a small comfort, and then a second pair of arms. And you can hear a small rhythm kind of on the wind in the distance, something, and you can just feel the warmth of a tavern and your friends and your family, and you feel another set of arms. And then you feel solid hands on your shoulder, and it feels like something is trying to rip you from the tar to try and help you. And you hear a voice of a woman you don't recognize. Embrace your fear.
So, Roshan, feeling the warmth around him, gets a spark of energy in him, and he gets up and onto his knees and moves toward the face with the distended mouth and grabs the face by the temples, something that he used to do with his sister, and says, "I love you, Rose." And then he headbutts her way harder than kids should, but sometimes he had they had lumps on their heads when they were kids, and that was just normal. So he headbutts his sister and smiles.
You look back now at a very familiar face, no longer distorted by corruption, and these arms holding you tight. We'll be together again. Just not yet. And you feel these strong hands just basically rip you free of the tar and the darkness, and you are pulled back into the world of this white stone room and these pillars, and you are surrounded by your friends.
Bro!
Obi-Wan! Stop! We can't tell if he's up or not!
So Roshan gets shaken around, and I think probably his his head gets rocked too far, and
Oh.
he bites his tongue, and
Oh,
and
worst.
he screams out, oh god, and spits out blood onto someone who's near him.
Oh,
and
God.
says,
We
oh my
killed
god,
him.
oh my god, I'm sorry.
Roshan, are you all
Thank you.
right?
I'm fine.
It wasn't real. It was just a vision. We all had them.
We all did. Come here, come here.
It's
Nana will
okay.
pull him tight, hug him close.
He accepts and returns the hug.
Got one left.
One more to go. Gorbjorn, please don't shake us this time.
I'll sit down patiently.
No, you need to be in the hug.
Join in and
okay.
hug, but please don't shake us about.
I'll gently put a hand on his shoulder.
Tordric goes.
That'll do.
Tordric, guys, he's kind of moving and he feels much better about things so much. So he's kind of like almost skipping over to the next person. He goes, just be yourself. It's all good. Be yourself.
Oh my God. Tordric, you don't know what you're saying.
He's just gonna tackle.
Oh, he
Fenn.
does. He knows what he's saying.
Oh, well, no, that's true. He knows damn well.
Besides holding on to Fen, is anybody doing anything else, or is it just a big group hug?
Nana's going to say to him, I know what you're seeing. I know it's awful. It's your fear, Fen. Embrace it.
All of you wrap arms around. Go ahead.
I think Saga kind of just she's a tad bit tentative. She takes his hand and just puts,
maybe like just like a hand on the shoulder. We know he doesn't like to be touched.
Yeah, she just takes one hand and then puts the other on his wrist and just holds very tightly.
I think
Hold on.
Roshan.
Yeah.
Roshan would go up to his ear and say,
It's very realistic.
Fen, we could really use you right now. I think we're all gonna die without you.
We're all literally gonna die.
Probably.
All of you hold on, whether that is a hand on the shoulder, a hand in his hand, a calming word in his ear. Fen, you stand alone at the end of this bridge before a god who seems to be contemplating if he should let you live or if he should end your suffering. And you can see him pondering, weighing out the pros and cons, and he doesn't really take you into account. He doesn't really like make eye contact and check in. It's just, what does he want? And you can hear just bubbling, murmured voices from below. And he finally acknowledges you. He gives you a little pat on the cheek. You got this. And he smiles, and he starts to walk away as you are stuck in place, surrounded by these bubbling, murmuring kind of just movement of bodies below, unable to move as he makes his way away. And you feel a hand in your hand and a gentle touch on your wrist and a hand on your shoulder, and they are warm. And you hear a familiar man's voice. We need your help. And you can feel multiple people standing behind you. And you hear Nana's voice. I know what you're seeing. This is your fear, Fen. Embrace it. What would you like to do or attempt to do?
trying to call out to Bragi. Just let me join them. Let me join her. I'm trying. I can't speak. Can't move.
You can feel your friends holding on to you now, and you know it's them, even though you can't see them. This warmth engulfing around you. And it doesn't feel like it's Bragi holding you in place anymore. It feels like them as you plead to go over the edge. And your body tries to will itself to step over and end it. But they won't let you.
Sven.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, this is my fault.
If you aren't able, and it's almost stronger than the pull of Bragi, but you can feel that you're able to speak as you feel your face no longer being held by the pull of the spell, and your friends hold you kind of centered on the bridge and solid and warm. What would you like to do if you cannot go over the side?
Drop to my knees. Fen will just drop to his knees and cry if he can.
You drop to your knees, grounded by warmth and comfort and hands. And you are being held. And you no longer can see Bragi in front of you. And you feel a pull as the hand in your hand, a gentle tug begins to pull you forward, and a hand on the shoulder pushing you forward. A man's voice again. We need you.
And hearing that someone needs him, Fen will step to his feet and wipe his eyes and take out his bow.
You take out your bow, and you feel once again able to help and protect. And these strong hands of your friends pull, and your foot steps forward. And the world rushes past and swirls around you, and then darkness covers your eyes, and then you are brought back looking at the 5 faces of your friends around you.
You did it.
Saga it's like half a second longer with her hands on his and then lets go and takes a step back. You're back.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
For
Everyone.
a hallucination, a vision.
I killed all of you in mine, so I'm sorry.
All of you died in mine too, so sorry for that.
I got lost and couldn't find anybody.
Oh,
It was terrible.
that's horrible.
I was alone. But not anymore.
Yeah.
Is this place?
I
This is
don't
the
know.
oasis, I think. Just like the inscription said.
An oasis is supposed to be a place of safety and refuge.
The inscription said we'd be lost if we didn't first embrace our fears.
I have no fear.
Oh,
Gorbjorn.
have any fear.
As I'm like, no fear.
You can see that this room is, compared to a recent tomb throne room you were in, is not as extravagant. You can see these 5 white pillars, the same as the rest of the stone in the room. Each pillar is segmented, multiple pieces stacked on top of each other, kind of free form, sort of around the center of the room. 4 of them kind of in a slightly arching line, and then the 5th one a bit farther away. But now that all of you are aware and finally fully back into your thoughts and your body and the real world, you can see that the room has been illuminated the whole time and shines brightly from just around the top of these pillars, something round and just illuminating light near the top. And you can see that it just shines most brightly between these pillars.
Saga climbs up on top of Georbjorn and rides on his shoulders to try to get a better look.
I'll gladly just lift you there if you want it.
There you go.
As you squint. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I see anything? Anything else?
Roll perception for me.
Okay. Oh, that was really bad.
Oh no.
It's okay. I still have a +7. 11.
Okay. As you squint, when you try to look at it, it's almost kind of like looking at the sun. You're like, oh, okay. But you can see something is there hovering above the center of this room. Something else you also are all feeling is it's like your stomach is a bit upset, more like anxiety, just kind of like a buzz inside of you. But you can see something is there in the center. You guys are currently kind of at the perimeter, sort of looking towards where these pillars are. They're not very far away. It would take you maybe 15, 20 feet to get to the center. But.
All right.
Whilst everyone is looking up at the light source, can I sneak behind a pillar, maybe look like I'm looking at it, and then get some medicinal herbs out of my bag?
Sure. I would like you, I will say, because of the situation, I will give you advantage on either this stealth or sleight of hand, whichever one you feel.
They are the same.
Perfect.
So not great. It's a 14.
Does anybody have higher than a 14 on their passive perception?
Passive perception.
I do.
I have exactly 14 passive perception.
Okay.
I have 15.
Ah.
I'm 17.
Ooh.
Oh Lord.
Fen and Saga, you can see that he steps off to the side for a moment, and you can see he's getting something out of his bag, but it's nothing, it doesn't look malicious, and it looks kind of private, but you, Saga, you've seen this sort of secretive grab into his bag before, but there is just the bright light from the torch above you that
Damn it.
and you're welcome to leave him to his business.
Yeah,
Yeah, this seems like a whole lot of none of my business.
I think Saga just takes note. And just, that's so bright. It's very bright. I can't see anything up there. Even, maybe, get a little closer. Gorbjorn, I can see more.
I think, wasn't it Drepa?
Close. So you got to be
mentioned something
specific.
about
Closer
this.
to the light or closer to the center?
Isn't the
Aren't
light
they
in?
both the same?
Yeah.
So I start climbing with Saga.
Holding on to your like hair, I guess. It's like,
I got a ponytail you can grab onto. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
First, Roshan, how much are you taking? Because it's going to just be taking it dry, and it is truly a terrible taste of completely bitter herbs.
Just one little nip.
Okay, you take one dose.
One weed.
One
Like,
drug, please.
holy.
A bindle.
Gorbjorn, go ahead and roll me athletics.
21.
Hey.
One thing I'm good at.
So Gorbjorn, because you are kind of in control of this situation, would you go to the closest pillar and start climbing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
You end up going to the first pillar on the left side of the room, part of the more connected line, and start to just, you're like, okay, we're going closer.
I'm doing what you
Be
said.
careful
I
up there, please. Gorbjorn's very sure-footed, Saga. You'll be all right.
Yeah, no, it was at first like a tiny scream, and then it turned into just kind of giggles.
Oh, adorable! Oh
I would say
There's so much anxiety. You need to do a giggle. It's just
no! Yeah, no, that's true. The anxiety giggle.
Urdrek, Nana, and Fen, would you be so kind? You'll never know.
we're kind. We're nice.
We're
It's fine.
pretty cool, I thought.
We're very deserving people. Please don't kill us.
Jillian, please. Would you go ahead and roll me either medicine or I will also take nature. Nature or medicine.
Nature, I will do. Dirty 20.
Ooh.
Get a 7 to nature.
Oh.
Medicine 11.
Okay. Nana, as you watch them climb up and your eyes sort of follow the pillar, there's a moment and it looks so familiar, the stone you're looking at, and you move a bit closer to get a look. Gorbjorn and Saga, you are now at the top of this pillar, and honestly, because it was maybe 20 feet up, he just bulldozes up the thing, and because of these like ridges, it's kind of easier to climb. He stands at the top. You think that maybe if you reach, you might be able to grab it.
Oh. Should I take it? Should I take the light?
I will take it. I will
Oh.
take the light.
Yeah, I think we
Go for it, you guys.
Do I have to roll anything or?
No, you guys reach for this light, extending your arms upwards.
Shiny.
Both of us, the two idiots, are like, yay.
Two shiny havers. Oh my god. The kleptos of the party.
We're taking this home. This is
Yeah.
ours now.
Was this what we came for in the first place? We don't know. We're taking it home anyway.
It's fine.
As you reach, both of you, you like have a hand on his like the ponytail and are reaching with the other hand, and it's out of reach, but you see the light draw closer.
Ooh.
I would like, this is gonna sound weird, but I would like Gorbjorn and Saga to roll initiative for me.
Huh? Okay.
What'd
Oh,
you
interesting. Interesting. I think I see what's happening.
15.
get? I got a 7.
Okay.
Oh.
Saga,
Yeah.
with just a little bit more edge
Yeah.
from your height.
Cheater.
Being on his shoulders.
On his shoulders.
You are able to kind of like the polarity of it, like it touches your hand. and it's just this, and the light dims a bit, so you can look at it now, and it's like a huge, like, I don't want to say inner tube shape because it's just going to be an inner tube forever.
No.
It's
I'm
like
going swimming.
Like a halo shape?
hell yeah.
Halo shaped, or is it a rod?
We'll
What is
do
the
halo shaped. Halo shaped is better.
All right.
Slightly better than donut.
Yeah.
Still better than donut.
The holy donut.
Halo is closer because of the width of it. Donut would be too thick. You're holding this like large sort of halo shape in your hands, and you feel it shrink down until it's about ring size.
Ooh! Look at it! Look at it! It's a
I'm swiping at it.
hey, no!
It's so shiny.
It's Finders Keepers!
Oh my
I found
god.
it.
You will
Hey.
find it.
We need to go to the next. Go! We need to go to the next one.
Currently, there is now no longer like a light above you, but the room just stays sort of vaguely illuminated. You are holding whatever was above you. Nana, as you look at the pillar in front of you, it takes a moment to click. You're looking at bones. The whole room is bones. You are looking at a hand. Finger bones extended upward like pillars stuck in time.
We're in the hand of Odin.
What?
Get down from there, you two. You
Look what I found!
Just holding a little
Is
white ring.
is that what? Huh.
Just a soft glow emanating from it. You can feel that it's warm to the touch, Saga.
Ooh.
Is that the torch?
Oh, I hope so. It's really warm. I mean, it's not that warm. It's just a little warm.
Come on down safely, please.
Do I have to roll for that or no?
Honestly, I would say that because you got over a 20 on the first go,
Well,
I will not give you the chance to plummet.
Just fireman pull down.
Of course.
just like spinning the whole way down. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I didn't roll that well. Come on.
It wasn't a nat 20.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult to go down, but as you slowly start to make your way back, Saga, you have this ring in your hand, and you're like, it's literally perfect for your ring finger. Literally perfect.
No fair, you got staff and ring.
Oh my god.
But it's too small for you.
Well, it was what? Big enough for a god's hand a moment ago? I would imagine it would change
Pocket
size,
big
but-
enough.
But it's not going to be able to stay with whomever it found it in the first place, because if it is the torch, then we've got to bring it back to Galunda.
Well, how do we know if it's that? What if we just all do older parchment shears to see who can have it?
Boulder every time.
Okay.
Saga's like,
Oh my god! Well then. These are bones. I know this material. These are bones. This is the hand of Odin, and that was Odin's ring.
when you look at it, all of you now able to get a good look at it instead of being blinded by light. Saying that it's Odin's ring seems true in a sense. And when you look at it, after all of you acknowledging that the room is bones, you can see that the ring is made of the same material. These This ring, this possible torch, is not an artifact, not a man-made way of preventing a corruption of making this oasis. This is piece of a god.
Okay, you guys can have it. I don't know.
I think that we ought to keep it with the scroll. We keep it with Ave's will. We keep them together until we make it back to Galunda.
They said there's gold in this room.
I heard the word gold. I will say,
Have a care.
there is a bit of a nagging feeling in the chests of a few of you, especially those who grew up in the West and have lived there for some period of time, especially in civilized society. Roshan, especially, you would know that this is incredibly taboo. This is the energy of a god.
Yeah.
Just in the palm of someone's hand, and this is what is going to be used to possibly save everyone. There is just a feeling, just a tightness in the back of your skull as each of you those of you who grew up with the mentality know the implication.
I don't think we should advertise that we have this.
I don't think so either. It should stay quiet.
Why not?
Saga, surely someone's mentioned to you by now the dangers of invoking or trying to siphon away the power of the dead gods. This ring is made of the bones of Odin, the All-Father.
Not my
I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not. But for whatever reason, Ave was given understanding that this could be used to help preserve the lives of everyone on our side of the land. And it's for that reason alone I don't encourage us to simply leave it here and have quit of this place.
Oh, well, that would totally ruin the whole prophecy if we left it here. That would be so silly.
Quite right.
There
But
is the small nagging question of the one we left outside, who might claim that as a birthright.
he might. But fact of the matter is that this is what we need to save our village, and if he wants to hold to his bargain with the village of giants
And Lady Seda?
and Lady Seda, he will not interfere. Now, I think we should be agreed among us. Do we be forthright about this with Bragi? Or do we conceal it until such time as inevitably happens in all such matters, it comes to light?
Was supposed to just go up there and just lie about everything that's so...
Can say, go your own way.
Oh...
There are very few ideal outcomes in this situation, Saga. The reality is that if Bragi invoked birthright on this ring, he would have a claim. He is Odin's son. But I do not think that I can stand by and allow him to claim it unchallenged.
I don't. He didn't even want to come down here, and he didn't like the spot. I don't think he'd want to. He didn't like his dad.
I don't believe he would. I don't think it's likely. But if he invoked the claim, he would be in the right. But I would challenge him for it. Our village is on the line. The whole of the West is on the line. I don't like it. But...
Give me Rod, I pin him down.
Well, let's not jump to conclusions just yet. As it is, however, it sounds to me as though most of us are uncomfortable with leaving this under the rug. Am I reading it right?
We're absolutely not going to leave this here.
No, I agree. So we be forthright about this with Bragi when we leave?
He didn't come down here. I think we just...
That is true.
I think we just move on.
And when he asks what we found, he can see inside of our minds.
Well, then...
Can he?
How do you know
when he
that?
brings it up, we'll know he's looking, right?
He spoke to me in my head. He paralyzed me and spoke to me.
He did what?
A story for another time.
Was that just now, or was that previously?
It was days ago.
That doesn't sound right.
Well,
story for another time, as I said. Does anyone know how to wield the power in that ring? Because we may need it if he decides he wants to take it.
None of us have anything beyond the instructions what Ave gave us.
We're even certain this is the artifact that we're seeking.
Well, is there a door beyond this, or is it just the door backwards?
Just the door backwards.
This is all that the oasis has to offer, assuming this is the oasis. This is where the spine ends.
And this is what the group we encountered days ago mentioned. They said that there was a light out of their reach and that they didn't come for it, so they left it. What they took was the spear.
We need spear.
I don't know that we do. I believe this is probably the torch we're after. The spear might be another artifact.
Well, I want spear.
Regardless, we're going to have to go after Ave's brooch, his chieftain's crest.
Oh.
We have a lot still to do. There's planning to be done. But let's quit this place now and start on the road back.
It's all good. While you're talking, you start to feel a bit strange. That sensation in your stomach, the unease. It almost feels like you're going to throw up as you feel something move up your throat.
Steps back. I don't feel
Are you
good.
all right? Saga?
I feel sick.
Too weak for ring. Give it here.
I did give it to him, but yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yeah, you have it. He's like,
You have it.
Once she found out it was bone, she was like, no.
Thorn, when it's handed to you, it extends so that it would fit your finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Saga, as you step back, say, I feel ill. And you can feel it just like at the back of your throat. And then you all watch as just like water moves out of Saga's mouth. Just about a cup's worth. Moves out and around through the air and then splashes to the ground.
She was like holding her hands like under her armpits because of what happened in the vision. She doesn't want anything to happen. Again.
And then you feel
That.
a lot better. And then Tordrek, you feel that sensation of something moving up and out of your throat, and you watch as water slips past his lips, kind of floating like anti-gravity, and then falls to the ground.
Ew.
And in the order that each of you were freed from your vision, water escapes. And it kind of...
Ah!
Just spray.
Vomit lungs, vomit lungs.
And these just like puddles of water just seem to kind of move together on the ground, and then there is no more movement. Gorbjorn, after kind of being distracted by just, there goes the water, I guess.
What?
Now that you have the ring on, now you've been able to see pretty well.
Gorbjorn Seal.
Oh no.
You can see so much more. It almost looks like dust particles in the air, and you can see into the shadows like they aren't even there. In this room, it's just the world seems to brighten around you as your eyes sort of widen a bit.
Gorbjorn, are you all right? You look a bit gobsmacked. You okay?
I see more.
All right. Can
Uh-oh.
you qualify that statement, please?
You see him just swiping at dust particles of magic.
Oh my god.
And you watch them like they move with the air current of your hand. Just sort of like tiny little amoebas in the air dancing and spinning as you swat the air about.
Is he high?
Better! Stronger!
Oh.
Tordrek, I also have a question. How long does locate object last?
10 minutes, I believe.
Okay. That's what I thought. I will say we are just at the end of your locate object. As
Oh
everyone
wow.
speaks. It was all very fast. You guys were there not very long, it seems. At least
Oh
Tordrek
my
was aware.
god, it felt so much longer.
I felt like I was there for years.
Oh, like
like
a week
2.5
went by.
hours.
It's almost like. Tordrek, as you feel like everyone's like, okay, I guess we're ready to start heading out. We have the torch. And you see Gorbjorn kind of slashing at the air. You remember the sensation of the cart moving. And in your last seconds of locate object, you try to pinpoint the cart. And you do not feel it.
He takes a deep breath. It's gone.
What?
I can't place it.
Place what?
The sleds.
Oh.
I cannot sense it's near us. I think
right.
it's. We must go back, but I'm. It may be
Let's
gone.
head back. We're not making any assumptions right here, right now. If there's anything that all this has taught us, or me at least, fear isn't going to get us far unless we make sure we face it head on. Come on.
All right.
All of you start moving forward. Gorbjorn, it's like you're moving around in the sun. Like there is just not a single corner can
I'm
hide.
walking on sunshine.
Oh my god.
As you
Oh my
make your
God.
way down the corridor, just like, just everything is so visible, and you can see these little wisps and just sort of, some of them follow you and they look like they're looking at you, and then they kind of slither off and away. You all get back to the main room with the very icy floor, and you can see that the rope still hangs from the entryway.
I think Ro probably feeling a little euphoric also joins in with Gorbjorn, and
He's just singing as he goes.
Oh man, if there's
together
two
they
of them.
go gaily down the hallway.
Daily go.
Nana is going to kind of take a running skid towards the rope and kind of like give it a tug, make sure that it's still firm.
It is still firm.
Good. All right. Okay.
Saga will skip up.
Lightest first, please. Saga, Ro, Tordrecht,
Fen.
I think.
Fen and then Tordrick.
Honestly.
Who's
He's
going-
short, but he's dense. Physically, not mentally.
I'm the mentally and
So-
physically.
Torbjorn is the densest, both physically and mentally. No, I'm kidding. We love him very much.
I mean, if you tell Saga to climb a rope, it's more like a
Oh, dear.
noodle.
Why
I'm
don't
like
you
the
ride
instructor
with
that's
Gorbjorn
pushing
then?
people up.
Fenn's up
Yeah.
and out. Fenn's
All
gonna
right.
Fenn's gonna go.
Okay,
All right.
and you are up and out. I'm going to assume everybody follows suit.
Yeah.
You all climb out, and you see that the sled, the automatic sled that you tied the rope to, is still there. You do not see the other sled.
Where are the tracks leading?
If you are examining the tracks, if you are proficient in survival,
I
you
am.
roll survival.
Woo!
Oh, I could do that
Saga will
too.
also look around.
24 survival.
Come on.
Wow, that was terrible.
I got a 12.
I got a 5.
I got an 8.
How am I doing so good?
If I'm not at
But you
any
can
kind of
see.
disadvantage, I got a 24 on survival.
Okay, let's talk to Roshan.
But what did
This
I think-
isn't about following tracks, though. Unless you're proficient in survival.
Yeah, I'm proficient in survival.
Oh, then never mind. This is all about tracks. What were you about to say, Saga?
Gorbjorn said he did really good, so.
Oh, I thought he didn't do well. My bad. What'd you
What do
get?
you say?
That's above average? What? 12?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I thought you said good.
Oh.
I thought you were not being
Yeah,
sarcastic.
it's above average. Roshan, you see everybody starts to examine the tracks, and you quickly, kind of like not where they're starting, but you can see a little bit of ways the sled tracks making their way around this once oasis, and you can see as you squint and start to kind of, would you like to move towards it, the direction of these sled marks?
Yeah, he'll inform the group that they seem to head this way and then kind of jog over in that direction.
Good eye, Ro.
Roshan-
Nana's jogging after him.
Okay, Rashawn being at the front, you follow and you look forward, and you can see the sled. It is upended and on its side, and it looks like it had skidded across the ground. You can see fragments of what looks like bone, and you can see there are spots where blood stains the ground. Supplies strewn about, the box they were in destroyed. You do not see Bragi, and you do not see Abe. It's still a little bit of ways from you, if all of you want to make your way over to it.
Yeah.
Are there any footprints
Um,
on our way up to it?
you can see that there are footprints, kind of like there's the sled lines, and then in the center, as if somebody is pulling it. You can see there are feet. And then you see that the sled has that line where it looks like it was shoved or moved aggressively, where it skids across the ground and is now upended. You can see that there are now erratic footsteps as you look around and see the steps move about the place, no longer kind of in a straight walking line, but seem to kind of move about, and sometimes they're far apart, so it's like a jump. And you can see where blood pools in some spots and is frozen over and sunk into the snow. You can see some of your supplies. Some of them it would take time to find. Roshan, as you get there, you look around and you don't see Ave and you do not see Bragi. Gorbjorn. The world is so vast. Everyone's running, and you're running, and you make your way over, and it's almost like a mirage image of itself. But lying next to the sled, you see Bragi lying prone, kind of almost a shadow of themselves, kind of holding Ave next to them, just kind of unmoving as you get closer.
I go up to Bragi and I just start slapping him. Like, wake up! Ah! Like, can I touch him?
You swipe through nothing, but you just start screaming and swiping at the air. All of you watch as Gorbjorn screams and says, wake up, swiping at the air. And you watch Gorbjorn as Bragi's eyes open and kind of in a blink, he is back and corporeal, laying on the ground, kind of holding one arm, just holding solid Ave's body. And you can see he looks terrible. Gaunt and tired, clothes stained with blood and torn, and you can see there's some blood that has now gotten onto Ave. And he lays prone on the ground, eyes unfocused as he looks about at the group and sort of mumbles, trying to find words, but he just seems so tired. Just his body, like, you don't see him moving. Like, once he's free of kind of being in this other place that you could see Gorbjorn, the second he sees you, he kind of like drops his arm, and Ave kind of is no longer being held against him. And he's just breathing softly.
Tordrit, can you please help Bragi?
He shakes his head and he heals. Does a cure light wounds.
All right.
Using 2 spell slots. So he's going to do it at 3rd level.
All right. How much does he heal?
Oh, I was going to roll it that way. Woo-hoo. Watch out. 18.
Okay. You watch as some of the wounds start to close up, and still seeming like he's not moving. You can see his chest slowly rising and falling with breath, but his body is just solid on the ground. It just looks like he's incapable.
Can we kind of like nudge Ave out of his arms? And
easily.
Okay. Nana's going to kind of like pull Ave to one side, kind of check to make sure that there's been no damage done to his body.
Ave seems to be okay, but some of what you assume is Bragi's blood has stained the tent in places.
It's covered in wax. It'll probably wash off.
It'll come off. It'll come off.
Get a little bit of snow on there. It'll be fine.
From the tracks, could we tell if it was a humanoid that was dealing with Bragi? Or was it a giantish humanoid?
I wonder.
People who have started examining the tracks, you don't see other tracks. It's just the sled and Bragi and these weird pieces of bone scattered about. And he looks like he starts to refocus in on the world.
I forgot to take the bull on my way out.
He runs back.
Oh my God, Gorbjorn!
I forgot something! Ah!
No!
When Bragi, at first when they came out, she was like running around yelling for Bragi, and then when he appeared, she ran down and put his head on her lap and was trying to like rouse him. It's like wake him up.
Pat, pat, pat.
Yep, pets.
He looks to you, and he speaks softly, so you have to lean in a bit, as he seems to not be able to get his words to be any louder. There was something. It didn't want me.
It wanted the cat.
The cat! The cat is the one!
Now that he's out of the way.
I tried to fend it off, but using magic makes me so tired, and I had to choose one or the other, and I didn't know if you would want the supplies or your friend. I chose him, and I had to wait. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't look at it.
You may not be safe out here. If you'll bear with me, I think I can find us some shelter for up to an hour. I've never tried this before. I was taught it as a young child. I don't know if it's going to work. But if Broggy perishes here, we have much bigger problems.
Oh.
I take my rope off my back. I concentrate. And I cast Rope Trick. About 10 feet off the ground.
You watch as the rope extends and then becomes solid as if attached to something 10 feet above you.
If we can get them all up into there, it should last. I don't know how long I can hold it, but it should last up to at least an hour, and we'll be safe from the elements, we'll be safe from what is out there, and we won't be visible or vulnerable. We can figure out what happened and what our next steps are.
Fen, you're brilliant. All right.
Well, let's hope this works. I'll go first. And I climb up, and when I reach the top of the rope, I disappear.
Oh.
Gorbjorn, you can sort of see this space. That you see that there's something at the end of the rope, and you watch as like Fen is now inside of it, and you can't. It's just really like a shadow of it. You're like, okay, all right.
Even with my infinity eyes, boo.
How do all of you go in, and how are you assisting Broggy? You see that Broggy is near dead weight at this moment. He cannot help you.
I would physically help him up, as I've done elderly care. I know how to gently put people up. Personally, not Gorbjorn though, but I feel like he would put the same mentality into it.
What was your elderly wolf's name with the thorn in his paw? Like, you would have lifted him?
Yeah, Bolo.
Yeah.
He lifts him like an elderly wolf. He puts all of his weight on you, but it's honestly, he's not that heavy. And you all go into this kind of pocket of another world, of something close by where you are, but just outside of view. And all of you disappear into this world.
We're bringing Ave. Nana's bringing Ave.
Yeah. Everybody's all right, put them all up.
Yep.
Broggy and Ave. And once all of you are inside, Broggy looks over at Saga. I saw smoke.
Smoke?
I saw smoke. And that is where we are going to stop for tonight.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, dang nabbit, DM!
Thank you all so much for sticking around with us tonight, through the highs and the incredibly low lows.
Oh my God.
We appreciate all of you very much for being with us for On the Backs of Gods. If you want to keep up with us, we are on Instagram and Twitter at Backs
Get that
of Gods.
merch.
Oh, get that sweet merch.
That's a really cool
Christo's
shirt.
rocking it this week.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that Dice Cult merch. We also have 3 Spears merch.
We do.
I'm sure there is a link probably somewhere in the chat. We're on
It's in the
Teespring.
mail.
And if you go over to our Instagram, Backs of Gods, there is a link there as well. I'm gone. Sorry, guys. I used all my energy. We will be here every Monday, same time, same place. Abby, would you like to tell me? Ooh, look at that.
Ooh.
Oh,
that's nice.
I love that.
I'm not
yes.
finished with that. I'm gonna do a little bit more, but yes, it's cool.
You got to
Would you tell
bedazzle
us
the
about Wednesday show,
ridges.
Abby?
Yes. On Wednesdays, we also play D&D. This one's called Roll Link. It's on a little bit earlier than it used to be. We're half an hour earlier. We're on at 7:30 Central Time now. Yes, that's correct, I think. Just check. You'll get a notification if you follow, and you can check the notification. And
yeah, follow us. Push the follow button.
Yes, smash that follow button, as we say on that show. It's a lot of craziness. I'm not sure how to describe it. Just come watch it. It's a lot of good stuff.
And what's happening on Friday?
Friday nights, we're doing a 5th edition homebrew stream where we do a lot of drinking and rolling dice and get the audience involved with drinking with us as much as possible. And that merchandise is at teespring.com/stores/cultist merch.
I see it in the chats now. Follow the link in the chat and buy that beautiful Friday show merch and some of that.
It's really soft and comfortable. I have itchy skin, and I have to say, this is really nice.
Oh yeah, that's hoodie is so soft inside.
Oh, I'm so excited when mine finally get here. And Mac, would you please tell me what's happening on Saturday?
Well, by golly, on Saturday, we've got a fantastic Saturday night horror game coming your way. You had vampires last week. This week, it's Call of Cthulhu. We're coming back at you. We've got Patty Miller and her sister, Gussie. We'll be solving some spoopy mysteries and hopefully not running into any more plants. Isn't that right, sis?
I'm tired of plants. If you want to see me,
Thank God.
Mac, and Kyle, we will be there this Saturday. If you're looking for something a little different than D&D and are looking for something spooky, we'd love to have you for episode 2 of Call of Cthulhu. Thank you.
The 11th hour, right?
The 11th hour.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for being here with us. We appreciate the support and we love getting to tell a good story. Thank you all again. And we will see you next Monday, same time, same place.
Doki doki.
Bye. Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.
We love you. Come see us again.